A dark and gloomy season, with a few days of radiant light from the sun, is what some of us recall the season that has been described in writings as the season of death. For some, it is a delightful season, a time to reflect on the past year. For others, it is a time to head to warmer climes as if to escape the depressing hues of our natural environment. Picture in your mind what you visualize as the perfect winter. Is your winter full of sunshine with a gentle chill in the air? Is it snowing with children out of school having a snowball fight? Or is it the icy grasp of the atmosphere that will not let the earth break free from its deep freeze? For the staff of the Indiana State University Climate Laboratory, winter is not a time to rest, but a chance for continued discovery of how the atmosphere works. As the skies become more organized, they can yield great storms that bring civilization as we know it to a standstill, only to remind us that we are but minuscule creatures. We may never know exactly how the atmosphere works, but we can better prepare ourselves for its rapture by looking at past storms, storm tracks, and the regional climatology. Join us on a journey through Indiana's winter, which can have a grip that seems endless until life breaks forth with the pastel color of cherry blossoms bursting free with the coming warmth.
When it comes to winter weather, Hoosiers are generally interested in two things. How much snow will we receive, and just how cold will it get? Why? Because snow and cold affect us in so many ways, from transportation to whether we will have work or even school. In 50 years, we've had snow virtually every single winter. However, we've had those major snowstorms that have made a lasting impression on Hoosiers. Join me now as we look back at the top 3 snowstorms of the past 50 years. At number 3, the snowstorm of February 25th, 1965. This snowstorm affected nearly the entire state of Indiana, dumping up to 16 inches of snow with gusty northeast winds up to 35 miles per hour that whipped the snow into great drifts of up to 15 feet. Transportation was at a standstill and schools were closed for days. This storm gave Indianapolis its greatest 24-hour snowfall total with 12.5 inches of snow on the 24th and 25th, a record that still stands today. One common theme that the top 3 snowstorms had was the fact that they originated over parts of Colorado or New Mexico. This storm did the same thing. It originated in Colorado but moved into the southeast on the 23rd. At that time, it began to pick up lots of Gulf of Mexico moisture and a lot of warm air, but at the same time, very cold Arctic air began to flow out of the northern latitudes. These two mixed and the storm really picked up strength on the 24th. Notice over parts of the southeast, down near the Hattiesburg, Mississippi area, very bitterly cold Arctic air flowing behind it, the very warm, moist air in front of it. Now, as this warm, moist air moved over the front, we developed a large swath of snow all the way from Louisiana to Michigan. By the 25th, the snow really picked up intensity in Indiana. This is when Indianapolis picked up their 12.5 inches of snowfall. But then as the storm retreated, the snow ended, but in its wake, a large blanket of white across the Hoosier State. Coming in at number 2, the snowstorm of December 19th and 20th, 1973. A rather early major snowstorm, this great snow was known for its high snowfall accumulations. Up to 21 inches of snow was reported across central Indiana, and 8 to 12 inches fell in the south. This was accompanied by gusty northeast winds. Covington reported 18 inches of snow. Lafayette picked up 17. Rockville had 15.5 inches, and even in southern Indiana, the storm was significant, with Oolitic reporting 7.5 inches and Washington with 8 inches of snow. In many ways, the 1973 storm was very similar to the 1965 snowstorm. It originated over parts of Colorado, dove into the southeast, began to pick up moisture on the 19th of December and spread snow from the southern plains into the Great Lakes. By the 20th of December, very cold Arctic air began to flow southward, while very warm air began to surge in front of the system. This energized the storm and created Indiana's heaviest snowfalls on the 20th. By the 21st, just very gusty northwest winds were left in its wake that created much blowing and drifting. And finally, the top snowstorm of the past 50 years, the blizzard of 1978. No other snowstorm tops the blizzard of 1978 in intensity, cold, duration, and snowfall accumulation in the past half century. Indeed, it was the Hoosiers' perfect storm, and meteorologically speaking, this statement was true.
The January 1978 blizzard remains one of the most remarkable in terms of its central pressure storms over North America in recorded history.
Like the past two storms that we spoke of, the blizzard of 1978 originated over parts of eastern Colorado. Like the other storms, it moved into the southeast, began to pick up moisture and warm, moist air out of the Gulf of Mexico, while very cold air began to flow out of the northern latitudes. By the 25th of January, the storm was centered over parts of Mississippi. However, at the same time, another strong storm was centered over parts of Minnesota. By the 26th of January, these two storms merged, creating what is often referred to as a great white hurricane. Very strong winds and very heavy snows were falling over parts of the Great Lakes. By the 27th, the storm began to retreat, but in its wake, an Arctic wasteland of drifts up to 20 feet in height and very high winds of 50 miles per hour.
This was a storm that was characterized at the surface by a southwestward moving warm front, which means essentially that the warm, moist air at the surface wrapped entirely around and without an occlusion began to propagate back toward the southwest, which is just one indication of the incredible amount of spin at all levels of the atmosphere.
By far, this storm was Indiana's greatest snowstorm event in the past 50 years, with 20 to 40 inches of snowfall, accompanied by winds of 50 to 60 miles per hour, wind chills of -60, drifts as high as 20 feet, and a federal state of emergency being declared. The winds and snow were relentless with Hoosiers, which were under siege for 24 hours of true blizzard conditions. As you can see, these snowstorms have left a lasting impression on Hoosiers across the state. A certain nostalgia surrounds these legendary storms that will always be known in Hoosier weather history.
Severe winter weather can be as unpredictable as a summertime thunderstorm. The following information will help you be better prepared if caught at home or stranded in your vehicle during a winter storm. When planning for the winter months ahead, it's important to consider 5 major items. 1. Develop a family disaster plan so that time can be saved in the advance of an oncoming winter storm. 2nd, sit down and discuss the disaster plan with your family so that everyone knows their routine. This too will help to save time. 3rd, be sure that all your automobile's gas tanks are full. This will help with traction in the snow and also keep your gas lines from freezing. 4th, be sure to service all snow removal equipment such as snowblowers prior to the oncoming snowstorm. That way, the job of removing the snow afterwards will be much simpler and decrease your chance of overexertion. Finally, plan for your pets and animals as well. They too will need food and water in case of an emergency. With severe winter weather approaching your area, the most important thing to do is stay indoors. However, if you must travel outside, be prepared and have a winter disaster kit in your vehicle, such as this one. Sandbag for traction, snow shovel and ice melter to help unbury your car, nice warm clothing that is water resistant, flashlight with spare batteries, and also some non-perishable food items and water. When stuck in the snow outside, you want your vehicle to be easily spottable by rescue personnel. In order to do this, simply take a bright colored ribbon such as this one and tie it to your antenna. With winter quickly approaching and the possibility of severe winter weather, it's very important to know the difference between a winter storm watch and a winter storm warning. A winter storm watch simply means that a winter storm is possible within your area in the next 36 hours. A winter storm warning means that winter storm conditions can be expected within the next 36 hours. A blizzard warning means that wind speeds of 35 miles per hour and higher can be expected with blowing and drifting snow, thus reducing visibility to a quarter of a mile, and that these conditions will last for at least 3 hours. If caught at home during a winter storm or blizzard warning, follow these 4 safety tips in order to avoid winter's harshest elements. 1. Stay indoors, dress warmly, and listen to weather updates. 2. Eat regularly and drink plenty of fluids to keep hydrated. 3. If you must go outside, cover your mouth to protect your lungs from the cold air, watch for signs of hypothermia and frostbite, and also avoid overexertion. 4. If you must travel, use public transportation if at all possible. The following tips will help guide you on what to do after a winter storm or blizzard. 1. Listen to weather updates for the latest conditions outside. 2. Help neighbors who may need it with young children, elderly people, or people with disabilities. 3. Avoid travel until road conditions and weather conditions improve. 4. Avoid overexertion if you must get out to shovel snow or help other people. And 5. Be prepared when venturing outdoors. Being prepared for severe winter weather before it hits can help save time and lives in the future. To better prepare yourself in the advent of a winter storm, check out our checklist on our website at weather.indstate.edu.
Have you heard of the woolly worm? Prior to modern times, people looked at the woolly worm to predict the weather. There have been many different ideas concerning the woolly worm, or the woolly bear as some people have called it, and the color of them. For the past 100 to 200 years, people have viewed the woolly worm as an indicator of the type of winter that is to come. Using weather lore as a way of predicting weather is not always reliable, especially when determining long-range weather. Here's a piece of folklore that many people have used to predict the winter to come. The more black than brown a woolly worm has, and the whiter the black stripe, the worse the winter. Another one is similar in context. If woolly worms are dark, the coming winter will be severe. Both of these ideas concentrate on the color of the worm's hair being responsible for the winter ahead. However, there is also another saying that concentrates on the head of the woolly worm. If the woolly worm's head is more black than colored, the coldest part of the winter will come in the first months of winter. How do we know if these sayings are true? The answer is and has been determined by experimenting with this weather lore. According to the Old Farmer's Almanac, these pieces of lore are not true. Why? Because the band is telling about the previous winter, not the coming one.
Winter storms have taken similar tracks throughout time. Let's take a look at some of those tracks and see just how they'll impact our weather in the upcoming winter months. Winter storms that bring significant snowfall to the central portions of Indiana and Illinois originate in 3 different locations. The first, as seen here, originates in Alberta, Canada, and is actually named an Alberta Clipper. It races off to the southeast through the northern central plains, northern Illinois and Indiana, then exits the eastern seaboard into the Atlantic Ocean. Typically, this storm out of the 3 brings us the least amount of snow due to a lack of moisture and also its quick movement. The second location our winter storms can originate in is actually the Four Corners region, particularly in portions of Colorado. Now, this storm will move to the southeast through the northern sections of Texas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas before taking a northeasterly turn through Kentucky along the Appalachian Mountains and then exiting into the Atlantic Ocean. Now, this storm will typically bring us moderate to heavy snowfall because it has more moisture to work with and is also moving at a slower pace. Finally, we can also see winter storms develop in the Four Corners region, but just a little further south than that of the Colorado Low. Now, these storms will track off to the southeast through southern Texas and into Louisiana, picking up vast amounts of moisture from the Gulf of Mexico. And these storms can typically bring us copious amounts of snowfall throughout the central portions of Indiana and Illinois. A good example of this type of storm is the blizzard of '78, which brought anywhere from 20 to 40 inches of snow across the state of Indiana. Now, the reason for this abundance of snowfall, again, is due to the vast amount of moisture from the Gulf of Mexico and also the slower movement of this storm. This image shows us the 3 different tracks of winter storms we can experience during the winter months. As you just heard, each track can bring us different accumulations of snowfall due to the amount of moisture available to the storm and the speed at which the storm is moving. Although winter storms travel along similar tracks, as you just heard, the track of a winter storm not only affects the amount of precipitation you will see, but also what type of precipitation you will see.
A snow advisory will issue when we expect less than 6 inches of snow, say in the next 12 hours or so. It's, I think the best way to look at that is an advisory situation is when we're expecting less than 6 inches of snow. Now, a winter storm warning, now when it comes to a winter storm warning, the potential exists, or it's imminent, that we expect in excess of 6 inches of snow in the next 12 hours or in excess of 8 inches within 24 hours. So that's the difference. I think 6 inches is the cutoff when it comes to the difference between a snow advisory and a winter storm warning.
What is it about the persimmon seed that predicts the weather? In the past, people used the persimmon seed as a predictor of the weather prior to the instruments we have today. I am sure that many of you have heard of or seen a persimmon seed, but have you ever heard the lore that goes along with it? What is the history of the persimmon seed as a fruit and the seed? In the past, persimmon seeds have been used in predicting the weather for the upcoming winter. Many people in portions of the Midwest look at persimmon seeds as the key to figuring out how harsh the winter is going to be by the designs that are found when you cut the seed long ways in half. Folklore tells us that if you find a spoon inside the seed, snow will be shoveled before the winter is over. If a knife is found, cold winds are forecasted. Finally, if you find a fork, light snow is the verdict. Is there any accuracy to look at the seeds for predicting conditions in the winter to come? It is too difficult to tell.
The most favorite thing about winter probably would be making snowmen and going out and sledding. It reminds me of my childhood days, so just having fun in the wintertime.
Spring. One thing that was my favorite thing about winter, I actually really like all the plants to die, and it sounds kind of negative, but I really like when all the leaves fall off the trees and the cornfields are down, because you really get to see what the land looks like. You get to see the shape of the hills, and you get to see you know, the cuts of the rivers, and it's very interesting and very beautiful, and it's something you don't get to experience in a place like a tropical rainforest, which always has greenery.
What I like most about the winter is the snow on the trees and on the branches of the trees.
Oh, yeah, I like winter because it's all white. It's beautiful. I really love it. When the first snow comes and it's all covered, it's all white, then within 2-3 days I start hating it because it starts melting and then it becomes dirty. So, but the white snow, yes, I love it.
As a community service officer, the hardest part about our job in the wintertime is going out in the cold and battling, I guess, the winter elements. We have to get out on our golf carts and give escorts, even in the snow and freezing temperatures. We also write tickets, which we're not so popular for, but we do that in the wintertime as well, and our pens have a tendency to freeze up on us, so we go through our pen collections in the wintertime.
With the approach of the winter season comes a decrease in temperatures outdoors and an increase in temperatures indoors. Now, this is a dangerous formula for spreading certain viruses such as the influenza. This particular virus is becoming a rising concern both locally and nationwide due to the flu vaccination shortage. As we speak with Fran Drake, director of the Student Health Center, we will explore some of the causes of this flu vaccination shortage and find out what we can do to protect ourselves from contracting this virus. On October 5, 2004, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention was notified by the Chiron Corporation that none of its influenza vaccine, Fluvirin, would be available for distribution in the United States for the 2004-2005 influenza season. This means that ISU's supply of vaccinations, as well as the nationwide supply, has been decreased by approximately one-half. The company indicated that Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency in the United Kingdom has suspended the company's license to manufacture the Fluvirin vaccine for 3 months, which prevents any release of this vaccine.
Well, they say there was some type of a contamination process in the process of preparing the flu vaccine. It's a little vague. You know, some places say they're not sure what was the cause of it, and some say it was a contamination in the process.
The flu vaccine should be reserved for individuals who are more likely to have serious health problems if they contract the flu. Healthy people 2 to 64 years old should wait to get a flu shot or skip getting a shot this season. These are the people who should get a flu shot this season.
Okay, they're saying people 65 and older should get it. Children ages 6 to 23 months. Adults and children 2 years of age and older with chronic lung, heart disorders, including heart disease and asthma. Pregnant women. Adults and children 2 years of age or older with chronic diseases like diabetes, kidney disease, blood disorders, weakened immune systems, people who have HIV/AIDS. Children and teenagers 6 to 18 months who take aspirin daily. Residents of nursing homes and chronic care facilities, most of those are over 65. Household members and out-of-home caregivers of infants under 6 months old. And healthcare workers who provide direct hands-on, direct contact, such as here in the Student Health Center clinic. It's very contagious. Okay. You know, I sneeze on you, or, you know, I sneeze and touch the doorknob, you know, other people come up and they get this, so it's highly contagious. Good hand washing is probably the best thing that we can recommend. Also using a Kleenex whenever you're going to cough or sneeze. Try to get away from other people when you do that. Rest, eating good, taking care of yourself.
Now we all have a better understanding as to what has exactly caused this flu vaccination shortage and what we can do to protect ourselves from contracting this contagious virus. By practicing adequate health and safety precautions, you and yours will be more protected from the hazards of winter weather this season.